find some attractive ladies to join us on stage? You know where we can find them? Yeah. Ladies, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Y'all are the four most beautiful women in the room, other than my wife, who's sitting right there. Honey, do you still love me? Okay, good. All right, I was kidding. Well, Troy, I tell you what, it's been a fun journey. One of the questions, by the way, on Twitter was, have we tried the energy drink? And that just came in. And then, of course, that's actually what we're drinking right now. So, Troy hadn't tried them yet until backstage. What do you think?
It's great. I love it. I don't know what it's done to me, but it certainly gives me a little energy. So, I don't know what all's in that thing, but I like it.
It's awesome. No, it works. I'll tell you what, the folks have been so excited about you. And, you know what's funny? At the press release, we were talking about, you actually mentioned, hey, I know a lot of you may not be Cowboy fans, and you may think I'm rooting for or against your team. It's been hilarious to me how many Cowboy haters have suddenly loved the Cowboys now.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, is there anybody from Philadelphia here? Yeah! I don't think they're Cowboy fans yet.
Yeah. Okay, hey, if you're not a Cowboy fan, you still love Troy Aikman, though, right?
Right.
All right, Troy, so obviously you're one of our partners in the company. You bring tons of value because of your integrity, your character, and what you stand for in life. Let's talk a little quick about the products. I mean, what's been your... It's been a couple weeks since you and I visited in person or on the phone. What's been the coolest thing about ID Nutrition and the product line since the last time we spoke?
Well, I just think the whole thing is an all-encompassing deal. I mean, the ID life and the nutrition and all of that is terrific. I've been taking the product now for 3 months. I believe strongly in it. It's why I'm here. It's why I'm happy to talk about it. It's not a paid endorsement. It's something that I've gotten behind because I think it's something in the marketplace that just has not been available. So to be able to have a personalization as to what your body needs, and I've always obviously been into nutrition and fitness and all that, going back to when I was growing up and had aspirations to then one day hopefully be a professional athlete, and then in college, and then of course once joining the Cowboys. And so I've always had the kind of the experts and the best people working on me, whether it was lifting or talking to me about nutrition and the whole exercise and all that's carried over into my retirement days, and then this is the other component of that. I mean, I try to eat as good as I can and work out and do cardio, and then to be able to take the supplements. And really the biggest part of it is just that, and all of you in here I'm sure have taken the assessment, but to be able to do that is really pretty cool. To not, if you can't afford then to go get a blood test done and blood work to see exactly what it is that your body needs, to be able to go online, take the assessment, and know that what I'm taking is what my body requires, which is different from what yours requires and everyone else's. I just think it's fabulous. I'll continue with that in that I obviously am on Twitter, as are a number of you, and I'm really blown away by how excited everyone is about this product, as excited as I am, and that's been probably the most encouraging thing for me, is seeing all the people that are out there on behalf of ID Life with such enthusiasm for the product, and obviously you're to be congratulated on that as well as the leader of this group.
When you and I first started visiting about this, and then once I knew that you thought this was the greatest product on the planet, you said, okay, let's talk about how I can get involved with the company. And I said, okay, well, I got to warn you. I said, you're going to have the greatest extended family you've ever had in your life. Are you okay with that? And Troy was like, bring it on. So great job, everybody, on doing that. All right, let's get to some questions on Twitter, because ultimately you and I can talk anytime we want. I want to know what they all want us to know, or what they'd like to ask you. We kind of answered the first one. Why'd you decide to get involved in ID Life? We already discussed that. Here's a good one. Who's a better golfer, you or Troy?
You mean me or you?
Yeah, the question, yes. Yeah. So they want to know who's better.
Well,
And we value honesty here at ID.
Yeah, well, we've not even played. We've not played. All right, I will tell you, I've never been more frustrated with my golf game than I am now. When I retired, I took up golf. I'd played, of course, but when I retired, golf then took the place of football in that competition and getting up each day and really working it towards getting better at something. And I was able to, at that time, I got my handicap down to 3 or 4, and it was a pretty solid 3 or 4. And then had kids, and I've not been able to play as much as I once did. And right now, I played yesterday at Glen Eagles and up in Plano, where I used to be a member, and it's not an easy course. And I think I shot 94. I mean, and it's not been good.
So I'm going to recap you.
So you want an answer? Is that
you're blaming your kids for your bad golf game? That's what I'm hearing.
Well, isn't that what we do? That's why you have kids, right? I would venture to say that I mean, you can beat 94, can't you? I was the worst guy in the group.
Brother, I would never know what a 94 looks like. That's pathetic. Truthfully.
Okay. I think we might have to get out and play.
Yeah, we'll make that happen. We'll make that happen. But if you're shooting a 94, I'm going to need a lot of libations to get through your hacking. I'm just telling you. No. Hey, that's a fun question, Troy, and I like to have fun with that. Some of these I'm scrolling through.
By the way, I got a Band-Aid. I'm taped up over here, and that's a golf injury for me. I got a blister. Wore a blister on my finger yesterday. Hey. It's rough out there on the links.
This is great. So the endorser, of ID Life, can't get through a round of golf without hurting himself. That's great. That's fun. All right. So here's a great question. It says the ID Life, we're a huge team. What would you say was one of your greatest? I'm trying to make sure I'm comprehending this question. What would you say is the most important part about teamwork and how it's led to your success in your career?
Well, I think the most important thing about teamwork is that people understand that it's a team. I think that I think back to people immediately associate when I start talking about the teams that I was a part of with the Cowboys, and obviously those were some pretty great teams, and we had a lot of great players, and it was really good. But there was two things that allowed us to be very successful. Well, first of all, we had great players, as I said. But our best players were our hardest working players. And to me, that's really key. So the guys who were expected to lead the team, they were the ones really setting the tone for all the younger players as well. So they saw Michael Irvin and Jay Novacek and Evan Smith and Darryl Johnston and Charles Haley and all these guys go out there every day and practice and practice at a really high level. And so it permeated all the way through to our younger guys, to our rookies. And so I think that certainly then is important, but the biggest thing is you've got to check your ego at the door. I mean, if you're going to be a great team, you're going to be a great teammate, then you make sacrifices. And I think that's the hardest thing for anyone to do. I used to talk about it when the season gets ready to start, and the NFL season will be starting here in a few months, and you listen to players, and they'll talk about how all they want to do is win. And then they'll be the same guys who are complaining, after the first couple of games that they haven't gotten enough receptions, they haven't gotten enough yards, they're not being utilized enough. And to me, that's really not what it's all about. It's, that's not why Jerry Jones wrote my check, was for me to throw for a bunch of yards, thankfully, because I didn't throw for a lot of yards. That's the way that
you're winning every game.
But we won, and that was really the goal. And we had a great group of unselfish players, and I think that's what really makes a great team.
Oh, that's out. You want to receive that? Yeah. One of the things that drew me to direct sales was that exact thing. It was my way after I was done playing sports. I could still be a part of the team and be around great people that were like-minded, that wanted the same prize I wanted, which was to be the best company in the world. And for all of the leaders, which you're all leaders, but I hope you understood what Troy just said there. And you're so right. I never thought about that. It's the ones that say they're good teammates. They're the ones that are complaining that they're not getting thrown the ball enough. They're not getting enough recognition. Those are the ones that complain. And then the ones that are the best teammates, They don't complain. You know, I look at your career, I don't remember one time you ever complained. Ever. And 3 Super Bowls later, Hall of Famer later. So that's great wisdom. The next question. It says, Troy, in life we all have adversity. How would you respond to adverse situations that enabled you to succeed?
Well, I think that when anyone I do it myself. When I look at someone who I look up to and see the successes that person has had, that's all you see is the successes, right? I mean, you don't see what happens then behind, the curtain, and how many times they're, having to overcome certain things in practice, or, Michael Jordan, for instance. Here was a guy who didn't make his high school basketball team, and so there's a number of those types of stories, and I had my share, from when I was young and, moving through my adolescence and then into college, and got to Oklahoma and thought I'd found a home there, and then broke my leg and transferred then to UCLA after the team had won the national championship, and had a nice career at UCLA, and then came to Dallas. We were the worst team in the league, and won 1 game, and I was not even the quarterback for the 1 game that we had won, and I was 0-11 as a starter, and and so those things, they test you a little bit. I think there's not a person in this room, no matter how much you've done or how much bravado you have or how confident you are, that there's not some insecurities that kind of, eat at you or drive you or motivate you, and however you use that to help kind of get you over the hump and further you as an individual is important. And I wrote a book. I wrote a children's book. Some of you may have seen it many years ago, back in the early 90s. And I was asked to do an autobiography, and I really didn't feel like there was enough that had happened in my life that would be of that much interest. But I said, they said, would you do a kid's book? And I said, well, only if there's a message that can come out of that, And so we sat down and we started talking about it, and there was. And the title of the book is called Things Change. And what it basically says is that through adversity and setbacks is really some of the greatest things in my life have come from that. I mean, I mentioned the broken leg at Oklahoma. It's very devastating at the time. I was just starting to come along as a quarterback in college for the first time, but by breaking my leg, I left an offense that I wasn't really all that comfortable running. Went to UCLA, which was a terrific experience. And that helped me then realize a dream of going on and playing professional football. And there's many others that I could tell you, but it seemed like every time something happened that knocked me back, right after that, wow, something really positive happened and was good. So I'm sure many of you can say the same thing. Sometimes you can't, it doesn't always happen. But at least now when I have some setbacks, it really makes me go into those moments after that much more optimistic and excited, because I've had enough things happen that have been good following those defeats.
That's awesome. All right. Is that awesome or what? I just want to hear the pom-poms again. That's all. All right. So I got to scroll through. Where you going to date with me? Where you going to date with me? Where you going to date with me? Kathy Newton says hello. I don't know if
Hello, Kathy. Is she here?
Yeah, Kathy. Go ahead. It's your chance, Kathy. Of course, you lost your voice. There she is. Right there. Say hi. There you go. Kathy, stand up one more time really quick. We couldn't see. We've got lights. There you are. All right. There's Kathy. Say hi to Kathy. All right, Kathy. Good to see you. She goes, Logan, I hate you. But no, you don't. All right. So, listen. What's your most memorable moment as an athlete?
Well, the obvious one is the Super Bowls. Those were, that's the pinnacle of certainly my profession. And the first one being the most memorable. I think anytime you do it the first time, it is pretty special. And not that the other two weren't pretty spectacular as well. But what a lot of people don't know is I think my proudest moment and the most proud I was of my team was when we lost in the NFC Championship game to the 49ers back in '94. And the reason was, as I mentioned, we were bad when I first got to Dallas. And then, then we got good. And we got good in a relatively short period of time. And so when we were bad, people weren't paying much attention to us. And then we got good. And they saw us then win the first Super Bowl in '92. And then they saw us win the next Super Bowl in '93. And now here we are in '94, and we're having a great year. And then we're back in the NFC Championship game. And we're out there playing at Candlestick, and the first pass of the game, I throw an interception to Eric Davis. He returns it for a touchdown. We're down 7-0. We get the ball back, and we fumble the kickoff return. They score. We're down 14-0. And then I throw a pass to Michael. He fumbles it and puts it on the ground. We're down 21-0, and people hadn't even gotten in the seats. I mean, this game was about over before anybody even got seated, and yet no one quit. I couldn't have been more proud. We closed the gap on a number of occasions to 10. And Larry Allen was a rookie that year. He's playing on one leg. He's getting tossed around. The only time he got tossed around. But he was getting blown up, and he wouldn't come out of the game. And it was a muddy field, and guys just kept believing, kept hanging in there. And so whenever anybody asked me, hey, what game are you most proud of, or what game do you remember most? Interestingly enough, the game I'm most proud of is the game that we were defeated in, which was a demoralizing loss. But I think that from that game, it showed, I don't know that it necessarily proved anything to us, but it proved to everyone that didn't know us that why we were champions, because we hung in there, shoot for 60 minutes against a good 49er team, and almost pulled it off. And it would have been easy to just say, this one's over. And I think that's, not to get too corny with anybody, but I think that's life, there's successes, and then you get knocked down, and, hey, how do you battle through that? You get up, you fight, you compete, and that, sports is a metaphor for life, and that game is really, in my opinion, a metaphor for life. So that's the one that I think of the most.
Wow. Can you come to Secrets from Roma Beach?
Yeah. I didn't even know where the beach was.
Yeah, I threw him that one beforehand.
He asked me about the beach, and you know what? I'll tell you this: that next year, if you give me the dates, I'll be happy to go and have a great time. I've got my daughter is going through confirmation. That's her confirmation weekend, so I won't be able to make it to the beach that weekend. Now, it's my understanding not everyone here is going, right? Yeah, you got to earn that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be what a great prize that is. I don't even have to earn it. He just asked me to go.
I think we just found a good icing on the cake for the next incentive trip that we announced. I'll give you those dates when we get off the stage.
It'd be great.
Yeah, that's in a week, and no, just kidding. All right, let's go. Let's wrap it up with this one. You've touched on it thus far, and I believe in my heart that the number one key to success in anything is you just have to believe in it, because your level of commitment to anything is directly tied to your level of belief in that particular venture. And so to wrap up and include your final thoughts in it, what role did belief play in who you are, where you are today, and moving forward?
I think belief, confidence, I think vision. I think it's, I'm kind of weird that way, I'm wired that I think that you train your body, we're here for ID life and supplements, but I think you got to train your mind too, and you got to work it a little bit. I think, the old notion, whatever your mind can believe, then you certainly can achieve, and, all that is vital. And I think the other part of that is you surround yourself with like-minded people, or if not that, you surround yourself with people that make you better, and whatever that is. And I think that's something that's really important, something that I've really embraced more so in recent years than earlier in my life. But man, if someone's dragging you down and they don't, whatever, it could be that he's, this person's just really positive, or this woman's just, there's something about her, the way she carries herself, or that she does this, or, that, boy, when you look at them, there's something about them that make you want to be better in that area. I say, grab a hold of them and surround yourself with those type of people. And so that, to me, is really key. In closing, let me say this. I said it last time. We did a deal, Logan and I did up in Frisco, And I know there's, I heard, boy, Philadelphia, you kidding? They got a strong contingent here today. Are you kidding me? And they're always the most vocal. You know, I did an event in Chicago about a month ago, and they asked. They said, "Hey, do we have any football fans?" He said, "Yeah." "Do we have any Giants fans?" "Yeah." "Do we have any Redskins fans?" "Yeah." "And we got Eagles fans." And they said, and everybody likes Troy though, right? Kind of like you did. And some guy in the back goes, "Hate him!" Some Philadelphia guy. So I love the Philadelphia fans. I mean, they're no wondering where you stand with that crew, I'll promise you. But I will tell you this, and I have really appreciated all of the tweets, people welcoming me, and some of you probably heard this a few weeks ago when we were in Frisco. It really does mean a lot. I don't kid myself. I know there's other fans of other teams. I know there's people here who, didn't care for me when I was playing. Hell, may not care for me now as a broadcaster, and all that's fine. But as a representative of ID Life and what you guys are a part of and we're a part of, the only thing I really want out of this thing is that you all respect the fact that I'm out there talking about the company, a teammate of yours, and I hope that I represent the company in a positive way that makes your job a little bit easier.
Here is Mike Simpson. No, I know this gentleman. All right, I want to welcome to the stage the CEO of one of the greatest nonprofits on this planet, making a major impact in kids' lives all around the world. Please help me welcome up to the CEO, Mike Simpson from Boys and Girls Club. Mike was generous enough to fly in, leave an event early. It was the Boys and Girls Club. I'll let you tell them.
Well, I was at a national conference in San Francisco for the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, and actually it was pretty exciting because while I was there were 14 new alumni inducted to the Hall of Fame. A couple of people that you may know, like Victor Cruz, Chris Dolman, Bill Russell, Tony La Russa, but there was also the mayor of San Antonio. There was also some actors. It was just a great event. Those are the kids. These people went through the clubs and look where they are now, as well as corporate CEOs. So,
well, how awesome is that, huh? Well, my wife and I were so humbled and honored that you named us your the Boys and Girls honorary chairs for 2013, and
we haven't talked about 2014 yet.
Chairs just mean you donate a lot of money. That's all it means. No, the truth is this. When my wife and I look to donate money or be affiliated with the company, I know Troy's the same exact way with United Way and the things he supports. And you want to know that the money's going where you are donating the money to. And one of the great things I love about Boys and Girls Club is we know that no matter what we're donating, almost all of it is going straight into kids' lives. But secondly, what Boys and Girls Club does is they empower these young men. They don't just bring them in and give them food and kick them out the door. They bring them in and they mentor them and they coach them. And I'll let you talk for 30 seconds on exactly what you do.
Well, I appreciate that, Logan. And I think what's really interesting is the awareness aspect of what the Boys and Girls Clubs do. A lot of people think it's after-school daycare and a little bit of sports. I want you to keep 3 words in mind: academics, character, and health. And the health standpoint, 1 out of every 3 children in this United States is obese or overweight. And when I think about ID Life and what you're trying to do to help people with their weight situation, with their health situation, it's a perfect fit with what we're doing with the Boys and Girls Clubs. But you and Troy like to look at return on investment, and I like to talk about what we're successful in doing. 99.9% of our kids advance to the next level in school on time. 100% of our seniors graduate and go on to college. We have no children in the juvenile justice system.
Mike, what we've done and what Troy's been generous to do, and then we're going to wrap this up, and that is, one of the Boys and Girls Club extended family is now ID Life, and they have donated incredible amount of money to support the Boys and Girls Club. And what we're going to do is we drew names out of a hat, well, actually a bowl, and we drew names out of a bowl, and this young man, come on up, brother, was the name drawn to take a picture and meet Troy and meet you and the whole 9 yards. All right.
So, did they know his name?
This is Ben.
Ben Brignola.
Ben Brignola.
Yes, sir.
And so, Ben, let's get a photo op here real quick. And thank you, Ben, thank you for donating to the Boys and Girls Club, man. I appreciate it. So let's get a picture real quick. Hey, thank you all for donating. One more time for Troy.